exactly. But
In this latest in our series of conversations with the major players in the airline industry, I flew to Stockholm to spend some time with the CEO of Scandinavian Airlines, Rickard Gustafson. You know, in the cyclical nature of the airline business, the argument that most airlines never made profit since the Wright brothers. When you came into this airline, things were not looking good.
that's true. We were back then facing some rather tough circumstances, and to be
2011, 2012.
correct, and to be brutally honest, we were actually facing bankruptcy in 2012. We had a situation where another carrier went under, and it was the Spanish carrier called Spanair, and we had a pending loan towards them on 150 million euros, and when then they went under, that put some pressure on our creditworthiness, and actually we were cross default on some of our creditors. So it's a tough time, and we really had to do some significant changes throughout the entire structure of the company at that time. So
everything sort of combined, right? You had a financial crisis.
Yes.
You had competition
Yeah.
from a lot of low-fare carriers.
Correct.
All of that converging created a problem for you.
It did, and we were, making some significant losses year after year. And then in 2012, we made a significant transformation of this company, and we have been on that journey since then. And again, I like to pay a lot of credit to all the employees of this company that I believe demonstrates an enormous fighting spirit to demonstrate that we have a reason to be the Scandinavian Airlines, that we provide a service and an offering to this part of the world that is actually necessary to connect Scandinavia with the rest of the world. And we've done that since 1946, and we're determined to continue to do that.
Before you came into SAS, what did you know about the airline business?
Well,
Other than having flown.
exactly. I was a frequent passenger, a frequent flyer, but I did not know the industry from the inside. So yeah, I needed to surround myself with excellent people, which I'm blessed to have around me, and listen to them, and then try to build a proposition going forward and a strategic direction going forward.
Now, I'll give you a route, an example, Bangkok.
Yeah.
You flew that route since I can remember.
You're right.
Right? Since day one.
Yeah.
It was one of your premier routes.
Yeah.
You never made money.
Never made money. So in 2014, we made the call and said, this can't continue. We're going to redeploy that aircraft, and we said there's an opportunity to open up from Scandinavia to the US West Coast. And we did. So we started Copenhagen, San Francisco, and then went into profit the first month.
A lesson learned.
Right.
And a lesson applied.
Right.
Where else are you applying that lesson?
Well, we're trying to be innovative. We're trying to embrace technology. We're trying to find smarter ways to do things, not just in the customer interaction, but also how we simplify the inside of SAS. In this industry, there's still a lot of manual routines and processes that can definitely be automated or digitized. And so we put a lot of efforts into that as well, trying to use technology to improve our effectiveness.
Although technology should never take precedence over basic common sense.
Of course not.
And the reason why I say that, I go back to one of your predecessors, Jan Carlson, who literally turned this airline around 30 years ago, where, everything was done by form and by routine and by long-standing protocol that wasn't working.
Right.
If a flight attendant suddenly, by mistake, spilled a cup of coffee on a passenger, she would make him fill out the form to get a dry cleaning receipt.
Right.
And he said, that's an example of where we can turn it around. No, just pay him right there to have the shirt cleaned, and I'll reimburse you later.
Right.
Simple.
Simple. And that spirit is now carried forward into the digital age. Today, all our crew members, they carry their own individual iPads. They have customer information at their fingertips. So they should know all the information about our frequent customers. And they should know that on seat 2C, we have Mrs. Anderson. And Mrs. Anderson flew with us yesterday, and it was a snow blitz yesterday. So she was on an aircraft that was late for 2 hours. We know that today. She's on board today, and I can walk up to Mrs. Anderson and say, I'm glad to have you on board again. I know about the problems yesterday. What can I do for you today? So again, the same idea, the customer first, empower your people to do things, but provide them with the modern technology so they can do their work.
If you take a look at the model of, let's say, Emirates, most people don't fly to Dubai, they fly through it.
Right.
That's their model.
Yeah.
most people don't fly through Stockholm as much as they fly to it, at least from the United States.
Correct.
Are you trying to change that to make yourself a true connecting hub?
Again, we're going back to the needs of our core customer group, those who need to fly frequently to from within Scandinavia. And Scandinavia, especially Norway and Sweden, are rather stretched out countries, and there are a number of smaller cities that the population won't justify that you operate all direct routes to every part of the world. You have to connect through some parts. And there, of course, the three capitals of Stockholm, Oslo and Copenhagen, three capitals of Scandinavia, are our kind of main connecting areas, or hubs if you put it that way. But it's not that I believe that we can create one mega hub for all of Scandinavia, because competition will offer direct routes from Stockholm or Oslo to different parts, and our customers, they expect that we also provide direct routes. And I cannot just provide that from one capital. I have to do that throughout Scandinavia. So it's a mix. We need to do both direct routes, and then to connect some of these remote parts of our territory, we need to connect also through our main hubs.
I mean, as an example, a friend of mine who wants to go from New York to Hong Kong can fly it nonstop, or they could, if they wanted to, fly it through Stockholm.
They're more than welcome. We would love to have them.
But I mean, you're actually going to let them connect, though.
Yeah, of course.
And
of course.
Is that business growing for you?
It is. It is. But the even faster growing demand is more and more for direct connectivity.
So the whole hub and spoke idea works for some, and point to point works for others.
You have to put it in context where you're located, your geographical location, and also the catchment area and the density of the populations that you have around you. And in a kind of outstretched area like ours, there might be a little different model than what you see maybe in central Germany or in Middle East and so forth.
When you came to the airline not knowing much other than having been a passenger, you had to not only immerse yourself in the financial aspects, you had to immerse yourself in the operational aspects.
Of course.
Have you been a ramper?
I tried that, yeah.
Have you loaded bags?
I have that.
Have you fueled?
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not.
Have you emptied a lavatory?
No, I failed on that one as well. But I've been working in the galley though.
Serving what?
Serving
coffee?
I didn't dare to. I took charge of the morning kind of bread rolls.
Sissy. But at least you tried.
I tried.
Nobody was injured by your cart?
No, none.
Okay.
None.
But what did you learn from all that?
The complexity of running an airline, the intimacy with the customer contact that you have on every single connection you have with them, and how important it is that this whole kind of machinery needs to work like a clockwork to get that aircraft off the gate on time. It sounds simple, but it's more complex than people might imagine.
There are some airlines that have maybe 7 different airline types made by 7 different airline manufacturers over the years. Then there's the Southwest Airlines model. They're only flying Boeing 737s.
Yeah.
Which route are you going?
We're going to one type fleet. We have a history in this company where we have had a very diversified fleet.
You had Boeing, you had Douglas.
Yeah, we had everything.
You had Fokkers.
Yeah. Name an aircraft type and we probably flown it. Going forward though, we are harmonizing around the Airbus platform. So on what we call short haul, we will focus on the Airbus 320 new engine option.
The Neo.
The Neo. And we have a rather significant order, and we take delivery now every single month for new aircraft. So when we get to kind of the first part of the 2020th, we will be more of a one-type fleet on short haul, and long haul we operate 330s and 350s.
So that's going to save you, at least in terms of training and spare parts.
Big time. It's going to really simplify a lot of things and create further efficiencies and productivities for us, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to ask you to take off your CEO hat and put on your passenger hat.
Right.
What's the one thing that actually angers you about your own airline?
Angers me, I'm not sure if this angers me, but I have a deep desire to further excel when we have irregularities. That's the pain point for our customers.
When they don't know.
Exactly. To make sure that we provide accurate information, timely information, that they can, in these stressed situations, feel that they know that we are taking care of them and we're keeping them informed, and we, dealing with their issues. Because I think most people understand and accept that sometimes there will be irregularities. There will be technical issues on an aircraft. In this part of the world, we do have snow blitzes and so forth. But they can't accept that we don't keep them informed and that we don't, deal with it in a professional manner. And I think we do, but I don't think we excel yet. And I really want to be better in that area.
One of the big frustrations of a lot of people now, there are something like 23 trillion unredeemed miles out there in the frequent flyer programs. You're part of the Star Alliance. That means your inventory is available to other people's frequent flyer programs, as is theirs to you. With that many unredeemed miles, how do you stop the frustration level, because it's only going to get worse if there are not enough seats to redeem?
Well, I think you will see again that we are entering into a new area, a new age, where there will be a 2.0 version of the frequent flyer program. What I mean by that is that with new technology, with digitalization, with the ability to connect data and use big data in an intelligent way, by being a member of a frequent flyer program, we as a carrier can then design very tailored products and services and offerings for you as an individual that provides value for you and is something that you could say it actually adds benefit to you as an individual as well. And that's why you want to become a member, and that's why you want to stay a member in this frequent flyer program, because you get more benefits out of it. So I think technology and digitalization is going to drive a further value to the frequent flyer programs, and that's why they're going to be sustained.
Because at this point, I think some would argue you've reached the point of diminishing returns. You've got to make a change.
You have to make a change, and we are making a change, and you're starting to see that all of a sudden you got very, very different offerings. You can bundle different types of services, not just what we provide. We can also have other partners that could have, parts of services that may be of value to you as a customer that we can then provide to you in a simple and effective and bundled way.
One of the continuing frustrations among so many travelers is the one thing that they got excited about 38 years ago, which was the frequent flyer program. 23 trillion unredeemed miles out there. People frustrated because they finally earned enough miles to go somewhere and they're told no seats available. You've reached the point of sort of diminishing returns. So how do you fix that?
I think that the frequent flyer programs, they are here to stay and they provide a value, but they need to be reinvented. We need to come up with the frequent flyer 2.0, and that's where modern technology and digitalization kicks in. Because by having this relationship with the individual and by using all the data, information and knowledge we have about that particular individual, we can bundle that and we can create very exciting offerings that are tailored for your needs and your desires. So you as an individual see value in this and actually have a desire to be part of a program. It makes sense and creates personal value for you.
But it's got to be accessible too.
It's got to be accessible, and you need to provide further opportunities both to earn and redeem kind of your points.
You already have the technology to know where I've flown, how many times I've flown, who I've flown with, how much I spent on that ticket. That you already have in your system.
We do.
How do you then take that and create something?
Because we use that data and that information, and then you may add other layers of information that we have on you, and some of your preferences. We know maybe that you realize that you fly every first week in May to your second home, and we can add all of that, and then we can create very tailored offerings to you as an individual.
That go beyond the flight.
Go beyond the flight. Could be other parts of services and components that we bundle in an effective and accessible way for you as an individual. That makes personal value, creates personal value, and makes personal sense.
There are some, and I'm one of them, by the way, who tends to have an emotional relationship with an airline, right? When United Airlines retired their last 747, it went to basically a salvage yard in Mobile or Tupelo, Mississippi. And somebody at United Airlines said, you know what, let's turn this into a frequent flyer benefit. Let's see who wants to come and have dinner on a plane that's about to be scrapped. People were bidding 400,000 miles to go to Tupelo, Mississippi and have dinner inside an old piece of metal. I mean, so that proves the point that you can actually start to fine-tune something and tailor it for people.
You can, and I'm glad you bring that up, because I have a similar story. Just a few years back, we retired our MD-80s, and on the last flight, we invited some of our most frequent passengers, say, guys, want to join us for a final spin over Denmark? And that flight sold out instantly.
So you have to invite me on when you retire the next plane.
Well,
that'll be the 340.
Yeah, you're right, and you will be the first to know.
Where are you going to take it, though?
Oh, I haven't decided yet.
Okay. Richard, thanks.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate that.
Likewise. Thank you.